Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, a look at the newly expanded OSEP Ideas That Work website. At this time, I would like to welcome Darcelyn Darling, the Program Specialist at the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs, Research to Practice Division. Darcelyn?
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Darcelyn Darling. Renee is on travel at the end of this week, so she's asked me to introduce what we have been working on. As many of you know, we have been working to update and expand the functionality of the Ideas That Work website, which is part of our RTP support contract with AIR. You should have seen some parts already as we began with the CCRS, the College and Career website, and the new Corrections Toolkit. One goal has been to create a more friendly site for staff, grantees, and stakeholders, and we have also consolidated the OSEP Meetings website for conferences into this one-stop space. The most exciting part is the addition of the collaboration spaces. They will debut next week with the first OSEP Symposium. We are flying and building the plane at the same time, so bear with us as we work through any challenges. And the security hoops have been a major challenge, so bear with us. And now I'm going to turn it over to Tracy Long from AIR, who has done a great job of taking our thoughts and vision and making it come alive. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Darcelyn. Hopefully everybody can hear me. My name is Tracy Long, and I'm a TA consultant here at American Institutes for Research. And I will be, I'm also joined with on this call by Terry Marks, who's a researcher here at AIR, and Janet Lunding, a senior researcher, and also our deputy director of the project. So, and then Jen Reed, who is our technical guru and will be running the show this afternoon. So let's just get right into it and look at what we're going to be. Darcelyn gave us a great introduction, and we're going to quickly review the purpose of the site. Then we're going to talk about the newly launched OSEP Meetings, and we'll do a walkthrough on that and all of the amazing, wonderful changes that have come forward with that. We'll show you the new OSEP collaboration spaces, and briefly review the Juvenile Corrections and the intervention ideas briefs that have been posted to the website. We'll also give you a quick preview of what's to come in the future for the website, and provide some time at the end for questions and answers. Just a little housekeeping before we get going. You have joined this webinar in the muted. You are muted, so if you have any questions, there is a box at the bottom of your screen where you can add questions to the chat box. All of the questions, we'll have time to answer them at the end of the webinar. If there is something as we're going through the website, please don't hesitate to ask the questions while we're moving through the different portions of the website. We would be happy to answer those as we move along. So let's quickly look at what the purpose is of the website. So again, and I know there was a webinar last summer that gave an overview of the newly launched website, and we just wanted to quickly review that the purpose of this website is basically a one-stop shop. We're hoping for all of your research to practice updates. We want to have a unified message coming across the entire website, from the collaboration spaces to the meetings pages to the main website. We have a large audience with very diverse interests, so we're hoping that this website fits all of your needs. So if at any time you ever have feedback for us, we'd love to have feedback as you're moving through and experiencing the website. So as we move into our new OSEP Meetings pages that we've just launched, I'll give you a quick preview before I actually go into the website itself. Similar to our main website, which you may or may not be familiar with, we've developed what we call a three-portal approach. So on the landing page, you'll find three portals on the meetings landing page. And here we have our leadership conference, the project directors conference link, and then a link to our new virtual symposium. This should hopefully make your navigation easy and intuitive through the website. And just like the main OSEP pages, we hope that you think of these pages as a one-stop shop for all of your needs related to the OSEP meetings. So let's go ahead and we'll go right into okay. So here is, when I follow that link, that takes me directly to our new OSEP landing page, for OSEP Meetings landing page. And you'll see we have a description of the purpose of the meetings here. The middle banner is highlighting our upcoming symposia that we're hosting next week. And then, as I said before, the three portals. So we've got the leadership conference, the project directors conference, and the symposia series. We also, down below, have the archive meetings. So we've archived all of our meetings and the keynote speakers here. So we've highlighted three of them here for you to see, and you can follow those links. If we scroll up and we link directly to the leadership conference, I'll navigate in here a little bit to give you some idea of what this looks like. So we've got our general information, the meeting location, who this meeting is primarily for, and then you can find additional information that may be of use to you. We've got the meeting agenda will be posted here when it's available, along with important presenter resources. So things like 508 accessibility standards, frequently asked questions, those kinds of resources are there if you require special needs. And then lodging and dining information for the event itself is all there. You'll also find a link here to our conference archives. And once you link there, you can either go to the leadership conference on 2015 or the virtual leadership conference to get some more information about what that conference was and view presentations that were presented at that conference. So we're back here. You can also go to the keynote presentations, and this is where you will link directly to our YouTube channel. And you can view all of the different keynote speakers that were part of that wonderful conference. Now I'll take you back to our Project Directors Conference. And with the next in-person Project Directors Conference to be held in 2018, we have just some general information about the conference, and we'll provide more information as that becomes available. Here, though, on this sidebar, you will find the conference archives and keynote presentations. So if you wanted to look back at different previous Project Directors conferences, you can link to those there. And finally, the newest addition to our meeting space, we have the virtual symposia series. Here you'll find a description of the purpose of the symposia, the goals for the symposia, and then a link to the symposium that's happening next week, and then a save the date for the two coming up in the future. So if you'd like to find out more about the virtual event that's happening next week, you can follow the link here to register. You can get some more information about what this event will be about. This specific one is about significant disproportionality, and so you can read the description there. Here we have the agenda posted. You can read about the speakers. We've got their wonderful bios and pictures so you can see who will be presenting on the day of the virtual event. And most importantly, with this virtual event, there are two additional components that are integral to the success of the event. And one of them is this idea of pre-work. And we've got a description here on what the pre-work entails and why it's important to explore the resources and make those connections. And it enables you to ask questions ahead of time. And then as you scroll down, you will find links to the different resources in the pre-work section according to what might be the topic areas that are of most interest to you. So if using data is in disproportionality is your area of expertise and where you'd like to explore more, you can follow these resources and links to get some more information and dive a little bit deeper into the topic ahead of time. And again, you can send those questions to us at osepmeeting@air.org, and we will make sure that those are addressed on the day of the virtual event. The second piece here that's an addition is the post-work. And this link here will take you to our collaboration spaces, which I will explore a little bit more. And the reason it came up as access denied is because these are private spaces. And so in order to participate in the post-work discussions, you will need to register and attend the virtual event. And these post-work discussions will enable you to talk and post questions and comments about different topical areas with other people that are interested in your topic areas, and also share and create some new knowledge around this topic of significant disproportionality. So if we navigate back to the main page of our meetings page, I'll scroll back up to the top. You can see here under the menu, we've got our home page, which will take you back to our main landing page for the main OSEP Ideas That Work website. You've got a link to the main meetings page, our contact us, and then all of the additional resources that can be found within the website. If I scroll down, again, we've got our archive meetings, different ways that you can share this site on social media, and links again to some of those important resources that are within our main website. So that is the meetings website. So now we can just jump right to, I'll just jump, Jen, right to the collaboration pages because that's where we're, well, I guess, why don't you go back to the slides and then I'll do a brief introduction to it and then we can share my screen again. And again, if any questions come up while we're working through this, please don't hesitate to ask. So our new OSEP collaborative spaces, the purpose that the reason these were developed is really to have greater collaboration between OSEP's grantees, and it's an opportunity for everybody to share knowledge and exchange ideas and resources and also create that new knowledge. There are some tools that I'm going to share with you as we move through this that are found on our main website that will help you build that collaboration and increase your stakeholder engagement. And there's one of them in particular that's found on our website is the Leading by Convening document, which is was produced through the IDEA partnership grant. So we will show that to you, and that lives on our website. So let's navigate. So when I follow the link that was up there just previously, it will take us to this page. And let me, I think what I'd like to do is show you how I got to that page. So here is our main website, the OSEP Ideas That Work website. And as I'm looking at this main website, again, we have our 3-portal approach. Under Resources for Grantees, you will find, as I said before, Tools for Collaboration and Stakeholder Engagement. This gives a brief description of the importance that OSEP puts on collaboration and these new tools. We have a link to the Leading by Convening document here so that you can download that. It's the complete toolkit. And this is where you find a link to the new OSEP collaboration spaces, which will take you directly to these pages. Here we have a description of the purpose of these pages. And in the blue box, we've got our useful user guides and tutorials. So as you start working within these collaboration spaces, you can look through these user guides. We've got a Getting Started, a new user guide, and then different functions, which I'll show you in a second, that you can download and have for quick access, how to post to the calendar, the discussion board, use the files and folders, and the wiki documents. So those are all useful. We'll also be adding some video tutorials if you'd like to use more of a video tutorial or walkthrough for that. And we have some additional tools to increase your collaboration and engagement across groups. So here are all of the collaboration spaces. You'll see that some of the links are not live yet. All of the spaces have been built. We just have not had an opportunity to create live links to them. But what I will show you is if I link on to the OSEP space, this one space is actually a public space. We will have lots of resources here. It will be an opportunity for OSEP to post important news, things like that that they feel is relevant to the to your work. There will be a calendar that will be updated that you can follow and get notifications on, and then a different file area where you can save and download different documents that might be of use to you. If I link into, sorry about that, the personnel development area, this is where I'm required to do a login. And just to show you real quickly, as I log in, you'll see I have a username and password. And once I'm logged in, I'm taken directly to that personal development page. This is a landing page for personal development. You can see, as with the OSEP page, we've got news, a calendar, and we've got some additional functionality because these are private pages now. We've got a discussion board, a files section, and a wiki page. And the wiki page is slightly different from the files in that it's a live, it's a collaborative document space for collaborators to work back and forth on different documents and share. Within the personal development, we've got some subspaces here. So these are subgroups or subspaces that fall under the personnel development category. And so each of those program areas that I showed you will have subspaces similar to this that have all of the different functionality that you see here, so that if there's a specific area of interest or focus, those areas can collaborate together. So for additional and a more in-depth guide to how to navigate through here once you get your login, that new user guide that's found under the tips, the user guides and tutorials page will help you to understand how you might go in and work in your dashboard so that you can see all of the spaces that you're a member of. You can also look at how you would edit your profile and do certain settings within the program. So I believe that is our OSEP collaboration spaces. So please, as we're moving through this, any questions that come up, don't hesitate to ask. I guess before I move on into the federal resources piece, I will show, since it's coming up, my mouse seems to be acting up. I will show, since it's coming up, the OSEP Symposia page, since I didn't get a chance to show this when I was showing the meetings page. This is, if you were logged in and followed that post-work link, this is the landing page for the OSEP Symposia series, with another brief description of the purpose and goals for the symposia. If I follow and look at the menu to the right, you'll see we have subspaces here created for the different symposium that will be hosted. The first one being significant disproportionality. So we've created a space specific to this symposium on significant disproportionality. And there will be a discussion group and a file section for this symposia, so that groups can answer questions specific to that topic, and work and collaborate, sharing files and sharing comments about what they've learned or what they would like to learn more about related to that topic. Okay, so let's go into the federal resources. Okay, so under federal resources, just to recap, all of the resources you'll find under federal resources for stakeholders. So under under federal resources, we've got the College and Career Readiness Standards, a link to the CCRS website. You've got Toolkits, topical issues, our new intervention ideas briefs, and our resource library. So this is all found under this icon on the main page. So we're going to take a deeper look at the toolkits. So under the toolkits, we've got a new toolkit, and it would be our Juvenile Corrections toolkit. And here you'll find the focus is on improving outcomes for youth with disabilities in juvenile corrections. And we've got 4 main areas here. We've got facility-wide practices, educational practices, transition and reentry practice, and community and interagency practices. So here we go. We'll take a look at the website.
Tracy, this is Terry. Did you want me to chime in?
That would be great. Yeah,
okay.
Since you were the...
You can guide us to the page for the Juvenile Corrections series, the toolkit, and then I can kind of explain the different components that are there.
Perfect.
So you'll see that Tracy just went to the landing page for all toolkits, and then now we're inside that toolkit for the juvenile justice work. This particular toolkit was developed based on some feedback that we received through a focus group that we did last spring. And so all of those topics that we've identified as kind of the key areas for improving outcomes for youth with disabilities in juvenile corrections were what's on this webpage was guided by the work of that focus group. And so you'll see that there are specific things that are highlighted and specific resources that have been identified, and that was truly in response to what we gained from that focus group. So that top part there just kind of provides a purpose statement for this particular site. It also links to the state correctional education self-assessment, as well as a specific page for family involvement and resources for family involvement within this particular topic area. We felt like those two things needed to stand above all of the 4 topical areas because they are broad and overarching all of the areas identified below. So then if we click in on one of them, so if we go to facility-wide practices, and we click in there, it's the same kind of portal approach that Tracy was talking about previously. You'll see that there's an overview for the topic and then key principles of practice. And this also has on the right-hand side a downloadable, printable PDF version of the content that's on the website. So those resources could be shared as that PDF handout. And then the web link could also be shared as in addition to providing the PDF. So these just provide the key principles of practice for that specific topical area. So these are the key principles of practice that were identified for facility-wide practices. And each of the other kind of portals in this area, so educational practices, transition and reentry practices, and then community and interagency practices follow this same model. For some of these, you'll see some areas for external links. And then if we go to educational practices, Tracy, if you could click into that particular domain. Thank you. So you'll also see in this one the same concept of the printable PDF version. And then you'll see that this is structured a little bit differently, that under the key principles of practice, in that first category of access to high quality education, if you view more information and resources there, it's going to take you to an additional page. And that page will also have a specific printable PDF for this particular topic of implementing high quality instruction within this particular setting. So some of the actual areas within the different portals have more information than others. We're still working out a plan to build out additional content in these areas. We also have a subject matter expert that's reviewing the content that's posted on the website currently. And this is just to make sure that we didn't miss any resources, or if there's a specific thing that we should be highlighting, that we're adding that in. All of the materials have been through a review by experts in the field as well as OSEP personnel. So we're just going through an additional layer with that subject matter expert to make sure that the way that things are presented on the website are the way that they should be, and just to make sure that we're capturing everything that we should. So that's kind of an overview of the Juvenile Corrections toolkit that's on the website currently. Again, you can link to those specific pages, or you can provide those PDF documents as well for those different categories.
Great. Thanks, Terry. That was very thorough. Why don't I, at this point, go back to our toolkits. So this was where we connected to the Juvenile Corrections. If we go back one more to federal resources for stakeholders, this is where you will find a link to the second topic area that we would like to highlight here, and that is our new intervention ideas briefs. And I would link on this here. And Janet, would you like to speak to this a little bit?
Sure. So we just launched, this is a very new resource. These pages just went live within, I'd say, the last couple of weeks. And this is our new series, which we've titled Intervention Ideas. And as you can see on the page, we have 3 topics that are featured right now: fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, lead exposure, and opioids. And Tracy, if we can open the opioids one, this shows the best example of the various ways that these are. This is the most thorough. So in each of these, and I should note the structure of this, I don't think we clicked on any of the downloadable briefs from the juvenile justice section, but they follow the same structure and they actually have the same look and feel. We're trying to do that for consistency across. So you can see, similar to those, we have what we call an overview, and we include there a prevalence, and then if we scroll down a little bit more, we also have characteristics that are associated with each of these. You can see that these are cited using footnotes. So again, these are grounded in research, but put in footnotes so that they would be a little more user-friendly for our audience. We have a brief discussion about prevention related to each topic, and then we get into our section on interventions. And this varies slightly across each of the 3 topics, but you can see we put it in a table format. And where appropriate, we have separate tables by age group as well as by the types of interventions. So in this case, we have interventions for infants and toddlers, and I would just note the different columns that we include here. So we have the name of the intervention, or sort of the category of the intervention, a brief description of what that intervention is, specific examples, so an idea of kind of what this might look like or what might be included in this. What we call quality indicators. So if this intervention is carried out with fidelity, what the positive impacts we would hope to see among the youths that are receiving the intervention. And then places to go for more information. So where we can link to additional information or research on the impact of the specific kind of intervention. And I should note that these, in some cases, particularly for infants and toddlers, more so, but even for ones that are for older youth, these interventions can be ones that are implemented either in a home setting or in a school-based setting. If we scroll down, so we can see here we have interventions for infants and toddlers. Here we have, so for older students, when we talk about children and youth, here we're focusing on youth who are school-aged. So here we have academic interventions, and if we scroll down a little bit more, we also have a separate table for behavioral interventions. And then unique to the opioids, we also have a table on substance abuse interventions, and this is specific just to this one. So in the case of the lead exposure or the fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, we primarily were looking at youth who were impacted by parental use of or impacts that were given to them sort of without an intent, and from a parent, the various ways that they get them with that. With opioids, we also wanted to acknowledge that once we start thinking about school-aged youth, there might be youth who themselves are abusing opioids, so interventions that might be available from that approach. So again, I wanted to look at the opioids one because there's sort of varying ways that, and we're hearing a lot about this, we know, in popular media as well, varying ways that opioids can impact youth, and we wanted to try to touch on all those various ways that they can have an impact on youth and how we can intervene regardless of the way that they're impacted. So then if we just scroll to the very end, we also have links to resources, and again, this is similar to how the Juvenile Corrections items are laid out. So when we try to hyperlink to them to just give more information, and all of these are, we tried to focus specifically on things that were supported by federal agencies or other reputable sources to ensure that we're giving the best possible information that there is out there. So I think that's it for this section for now, and again, as Tracy mentioned earlier, welcome any questions about this series.
Great. That's wonderful. It looks like such a wonderful resource. So let's go back to our presentation, unless there are any questions there as we're moving through. And we'll just give you a quick preview of what's coming soon with the website. As you see under Federal Resources for Stakeholders, we've got our resource library. You can go ahead and move forward, Jen. So we have our resource library there now. As we move through in the next several months into 2017, we're looking at a redesign of the resource library so that we can combine all of our wonderful webinars and resources into one library archive that will be searchable by topic area, dates, all kinds of parameters that are important to you, and will make locating those resources on the website faster and easier. We'll also be adding more to the meetings pages. We'll have registration probably opening up. It's slated to open up for the summer event. The registration will open up late February, and we'll also add the call for proposals piece to the website so that you can submit proposals to be a presenter at that in-person meeting. So now that was our overview of the website, and we welcome any questions about any of the pieces you've seen today, the federal resources that have been added, the new meetings pages, and the collaboration spaces.
And there were two questions that came in, Tracy. It looks like it says one, is access to private collaboration pages restricted by program area of the grant? For example, a 325D only access to the PDP collaboration page.
Could you repeat that one more time? So they're wanting to know if each of the separate collaboration spaces is restricted to only members of that grant area? Is that what you're asking?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I think the quick answer would be no, that you know, once you are a member of one space, all it takes is asking to be a member of other spaces. You know, if you would like to, if you have an interest, say, in early childhood, but you're a member of another space, I think and Darcelyn, feel free to chime in on this, but the idea is to encourage collaboration across spaces whenever possible.
Okay, and then one other question. Can you share documents between more than one program?
Between more than one program area? Is that for the collaboration spaces again?
Yeah, I think so. Between, the example was between SPDG and PDP, for instance.
Yes, I guess you would just have to be, you would have to become, I don't even think you would have to become a member of that space. You would just need to have access to that space in order to have access to those files. Once you are a member of the OSEP collaboration spaces, you would be able to have access to that. So, yes.
Tracy, this is Terry. I think for the first question, the person might be referring to the fact that under personnel development programs, there's multiple grant types. So 325D would be one of those grant types. I don't think we have it set up so that the PDP, that personnel development page, is separated by grantee type, but it's more just encompassing all personnel development grants. Is that correct?
Do you mean the main landing page? Is that what you're talking about?
In the collaboration space for personnel development, we don't have separate pages for 325D, 325K. It's just personnel development, correct?
No, this is Darcelyn. It is broken out into doctoral training, and the 325K grant has its own section, etc.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think that was the distinction for that first question.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
There are no additional questions in at this time. I did just send a little quick note. You know, if you have any questions, please just make sure to enter them in the space, and we will address them.
Okay. I know that there will probably be, with the collaboration spaces, you know, once people have access, and once they're fully launched, just like Darcelyn said, we're kind of building the plane while we're flying it. These are a work in progress, but we do have some webinars coming up to dive a little bit more deeply into them, to answer any questions about the functionality and things like that. But like I said, the user guides are posted, and we do have a webinar that we held for a pilot group that we're getting ready to post, that you could maybe get some of your questions answered about some of the functionality of the websites themselves. So.
And there are no additional questions that have come in at this time.
Okay. Well, if there are no additional questions, again, if you think of something, please don't hesitate to email us and let us know. We'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you for joining us and learning more about the new additions to the website. We're excited that we've got so many new additions to the website, and we welcome your feedback on the usability and functionality now that these pieces have launched, and we hope that you find the resources helpful to your work. Thank you, and thank you to my co-presenters.